Welcome to the Road to Life podcast, the show for married entrepreneurs who want to build a thriving marriage and a thriving business. We're your hosts, Meredith and Craig, relationship experts and entrepreneurs ourselves. We know firsthand that your business will only grow as strong as your marriage does.
On this podcast, we share real stories, practical tools, and honest conversations to help you strengthen your relationship, fuel your business, and build a life you love together. Let's dive in.
Connor Tyson is a financial coach and former advisor of over 20 years. He's the founder of Progress Solutions, where he helps couples and married entrepreneurs stop letting money quietly sabotage their marriage and their dreams.
In this episode, listen as Connor shares the framework he learned from firefighters about how to handle money in his marriage and a ton of other practical tools that you can implement right now, including the hopes and worries list. Welcome to the Road to Life podcast, Connor Tyson.
Oh, Connor, we're super excited you're here.
Yeah, I've been jonesing for this all week. I'm like, this is gonna be great.
Yeah, we're super stoked, especially given that you are a financial coach and we are relationship coaches. So there's so much overlap, and I think this conversation is going to be fantastic. But before we get into all of that, talk to us a little bit about how you got here, what you're up to, and your a little bit about your hero's journey, if you will.
My hero's journey. Okay, so I mean, we can go all the way back to the beginning with my growing up with money and stuff like that. So I think there wasn't much communication in my household about money, right? And I took it on at an early age, like there's something to this money thing. There was a lot of energy in the household around money, a lot of fighting, a lot of told you so, Joe. And I just realized like, wow, there's something to this. So I took it upon myself to learn everything I could about money at a pretty young age. It's always been kind of my passion. So I graduated college with a degree in finance. And then I looked down at the age of like 22 and I had some serious debt. And I was like, how did that happen? Because I had all the knowledge in the world. And I realized like it was really habits and behaviors, not so much the knowledge, and basically cleaned myself up. And then I had a financial planning practice. I was a financial advisor for 25 years, very successful, sold that. And then I sat around saying, okay, how can I be the most service to the most amount of people? And I was like, they're not teaching this stuff in schools. It's still statistically one of the biggest, problem areas in people's lives. And I was like, let me just be a personal financial wellness coach, meet people where they're at and help them start winning with money, And then we met and I was like, this is exactly what we need to do.
Yeah, I love it. You touched on something really important there, I think, because it goes to a lot of areas of life, including relationships. It's knowledge is one thing. Habits and behaviors is something completely different. Like
Yes.
you have to marry the two. That was a
Absolutely. Yeah,
relationship.
because it's knowledge without taking action is just knowledge, right? Like you got to move the needle. You got to apply it. You got to do something with it. Otherwise, it's just, maybe one day I'll be on Jeopardy and they ask me that question. I have no idea, but it's not going to help me out in the meantime, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's such a good point because the world we live in now with Google and with AI, like anything YouTube, anything you want to learn is at your fingertips. The knowledge, the information is available, but a lot of people sometimes get stuck in that information loop. I just need more information. I need more information. I need more
Yeah.
information. And they never actually translate the information into habits, actions that will actually move you forward.
Correct. So what I've seen is that it's not the lack of knowledge. Like if you ask anybody in your audience right now, how do you become financially independent and wealthy and grow wealth? They'll tell you. They know, like spend less than I make, save, avoid debt, give. They know these things. It's not lack of knowledge. Like you said, Google would have solved this problem a while ago. But it's really like you have to get deeper into why would you actually change what you're doing? Why? Right? It's not, I want to get out of debt. I want to be financially free. That's not going to do it. It might do it for like a week. But talk to me when you're in the depths of it and like really wanting to do something. Are you going to revert back to your old habits? And it has to be deeper than that. It has to be like, I'm working 2 jobs and I'm missing my kids' baseball games. And family is a really strong value in my life. And I feel like I'm violating that. Now we're getting somewhere. That's going to probably make you move, right? And that's not all the knowledge in the world's great, but you have to have a bigger reason as to why to apply that.
Yeah.
Right.
You say that a lot too. The pain of where I am, the pain of not taking action has to get to the point that it overcomes that sort of stagnation. Like we all kind of get stuck in what we're doing and making a change to our routine, changing our habits, changing our actions, changing our behavior is hard.
Oh, absolutely. I take it back to something so basic. It's like brushing your teeth. I've been brushing my teeth with my right hand since someone taught me how to brush my teeth. Someone comes along and says, "Hey, Connor, how about you start brushing your teeth with your left hand?" No, right? I'll try it. It'll be awkward, uncomfortable. I'm going to want to revert back to my right hand because that's what I know.
Mhm,
And the same thing with money. It's like I operate like this. This is how I was taught. This is what I do. This is how I react. When things get stressful, I go shopping, whatever it is. And then someone says, "Well, listen, how about we change a couple of things?" It's going to be uncomfortable. So
mhm.
that's why it's habits and behaviors. It's not that I don't know what I need to be doing. It's just in that moment, I'm I want to hit the easy button.
Yeah. It's so similar to relationships in that, you know, I know I have to have that difficult conversation. I know there's a boundary that's been broken here and I need to say something, but I don't really want to have that conversation and confront that and deal with that short-term discomfort. So I'm going to put that off. I'm not going to have that conversation. And eventually we're trading that short-term discomfort for long-term dysfunction. And it's similar to what you're talking about with finances, like not doing the thing now, but then later on down the road, you wake up one day and you're like, "Oh crap, I can't retire. I don't have anything money set aside and now I have a harder life long term."
Yeah,
So,
or it's Wednesday, let's have a money fight, right? Like it just becomes such part of who you become. And the thing about marriage, I think we spoke about this before. It's two worlds coming into one,
yeah.
right? And you've learned about money prior to meeting your significant other.
Mhm.
Your parents taught you what you observed, how you do things. Yeah, I put everything on a credit card to pay it off at the end of the month, or I use envelopes, or whatever that is. It's different. And then you have those two things come together. It's like you better have an operating system moving forward. Otherwise, yeah, there's going to be some friction
Yeah.
and it's going to cause some sparks and there's probably going to be some tension. And some people, like you said, are afraid to have that conversation and they go into avoidance and that could be for decades.
Yes.
And then it's wow, right? And
Yeah.
something happens. Someone loses a job. Somebody gets sick. Something happens and there's no it just reverts back to the old like, okay, ostrich technique. We're just gonna put our head in the sand and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, we see it all the time. And we talked about this, the big 4, one of them being money. Probably the biggest one is being money. Like relationships, there is an underlying kind of friction when it comes to money. And you must see it all the time.
Oh yeah, I see it all the time. And it's that sleeve like of the pillars of life, right? You spoke about relationships and health and personal development and money is one of them. And that sleeve touches almost every single sleeve of your life.
Yeah.
It can ruin relationships. It can make relationships awkward. Like we just went through Thanksgiving, right? If you owed your uncle $10,000, it's a little awkward at the dinner table,
Yeah.
right? Regardless if it's even bothering him or not, it makes it uncomfortable for you. Sometimes saying no to friends, like, yeah, no, sorry, I can't go to the wine and cheese party tonight. Not going to the right because I'm trying to get my financial house in order. You don't want to say that because it's awkward to you. Or how about this? I don't know what's going on with our household budget. I have no idea. Can you sit me down or let's sit down together as a team and go through this without, fighting? And let's set some ground rules on how we want to operate together as a team,
I
right?
I
And it's like,
love I love that ground rules piece because usually when the money conversations happen in any of the conflicts, like you talked about the big 4, and just to be clear, the big 4 being money, sex, parenting, in-laws, family, extended family. Usually when those conversations happen, it's in a high emotion state. Something has happened that's triggered the conversation. Now it has to be had. I can't avoid it anymore. It's so in my face. I have to have it. But the problem is we're in a high emotional state. When we're in a high emotional state, we're not our best, most rational, logical selves. So, what you just said is like, let's set the ground rules while we're in a calm, low emotional state when we're both logical and rational. And let's talk about how we want this to work so that when those times happen, when the conflicts inevitably arise, we've got a set of ground rules that we both already agreed to that we can stick to in those moments to keep from going completely off the rails.
yeah. And it could be, and sometimes it's awkward like, do we lend money to relatives? When do we communicate about a purchase? Like more than $500? Less than like, I don't know what does that look like for you? Is it And do we use credit cards? How do we teach our kids about money? What are some of the things we want them to know about it? You know, and those conversations happen. And like, I like what you said, like when things are calm,
Mhm.
right? Because emotions and logic don't usually go together too well. And it's like
I wish.
those two things, and you throw in this time of year, you got the holidays, you got in-laws. We joked about it, right? You got in-laws, you got money, you got expectations and pressure. And yeah, it's not probably a very smooth, calm, walking away from that feeling really good and accomplished conversation, right?
Perfect storm time of year for sure.
Totally. And given that it is that time of year and you are who you are and you're such a great financial coach and you're helping all kinds of people, what's like one or two nuggets that you would give people that they could take away like today, like right now, that they could work on through the holidays just to like help them through this whole process?
So I think I spoke to you about this prior, but like the basics of a really good marriage that I was taught is like I use the fireman analogy. I don't know if I've spoken to you about this, but so when I was getting married, I said, listen, I'm kind of nervous about it. He's like, listen, I've married hundreds of couples over my career. And he said, the four tenets are you have to start acting like a fireman. I said, what's that? He said, in scary situations, they communicate. Constant communication, like over communication. They know where everybody is at any given moment and what they need and how to get out and what, right? That's okay. So two, loyalty. They have each other's back no matter what. You can have a fireman from Texas and a fireman from Boston. They have a mutual loyalty to. They kind of look out for each other's back because they understand what that whole thing's about. The other thing is they also know people over possessions. Make sure the people are okay. Get the possession. Don't worry about the possession. 'Cause at the end of the day, that's really what you have. You chose each other, not the things you're going to get. So, and then the fourth thing was have fun. Like, why does it have to be such a heavy topic, right? Like, all right, it's money. Is it really a possession or is it just this thing I'm a steward of until I give it a purpose for something else? Right? So money, I think, is like an energy source and that it comes and goes. It ebbs and flows. I've had it, I've not had it. Is that something I want to define me and my marriage? Something I really don't have that much control over? I mean, yeah, I can give it some rules and a process to kind of obey. It's a really, really horrible master, really good servant, right? Money. So if I just take those four tenets of what I built my marriage on and I apply it to money, yeah, I should probably have a regular 15-minute stand-up meeting. I don't need a formal Excel spreadsheet at the kitchen table. Just like, hey, what are we doing for groceries this week? Where are we at with our checking account? What what are we doing for what's the Christmas budget looking like? Like we got 10 people to buy for. Is it $1,000, 2,000, 500? What are we doing? Right? Role assignment. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. I know my wife's strengths and weaknesses. She's a great admin. She's very organized. I'm not. You would think I would be. I'm not. I'm big picture, right? And I can't track things to detail, but I do know when things are red and when they're green, right? So I know like, all right, we're getting close to a budget here that we got to communicate. I also have the gift of gab. She's very shy. I'm outgoing. I can have awkward conversations. She can't, but she knows what she can call upon. I also know what my teammate needs, right? I'm a very prideful person. She's not. She knows to ask me the question, what do you need taken off your plate? Because I want to carry the world on my shoulders. So we know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and sometimes we don't have that conversation and make it a regular thing. It doesn't have to be a big every single week or month, a big budget meeting. Who the hell would want to sign up for that? Not me. And I didn't. So it's like if we just make this a regular thing, where are we at? What was our intention for the week? How did we do? What can we improve upon? Great. High five, hugs and kisses. Let's keep it moving. And just keep that a regular thing. And then when you're comfortable enough, include the kids,
Mm,
right? And it's
yeah.
like, all right, this is good. This is a good thing.
Yeah.
So that would be one thing. The other thing is like if you're just starting out, you need awareness. Like, where are you? If you want to know where you want to go, you got to know where you are right now. right? You got to orientate yourself. And that's sometimes just ripping off the band-aid and saying, okay, well, let's take a look at this bad boy. We haven't looked at it in, I don't know, 14 years, right? We have an idea, but then you start getting in the driver's seat, and you only have to go through that once or twice, and then you're like, all right, teamwork, and then make it happen. So those are the two things. Make it part of a regular. It doesn't have to be a formal thing, like in a neutral environment. It doesn't have to be at the kitchen table with the lights off. It's like, all right, let's have it sit down on the couch and comfortable with no distractions, so we can focus on the things that matter to us.
There's a lot to unpack there.
That was so
There
good.
was so much gold there. I
Sorry.
love the fireman analogy in an emergency, over communicating. Like I
Mhm.
just love that. That's such a tangible thing that you can grab onto and be like, okay, when something's happening, over communication more than you think might be necessary, just because let's just make it safe as possible. I love that.
Yep.
The other thing was the loyalty.
Mhm.
Like, you
That's
chose this person.
Mhm.
We're in this together. Let's join forces and figure this out. People over possessions was the
Mhm.
other one, right?
Yep.
And then what's the fourth one?
Have
Have
fun.
fun. That
Have
one is so
fun.
aligned. That one is so
Have the
aligned.
best one.
Yeah, it's we say it all the time because it's one of our pillars in our framework as well. Is fun is not a
Nice to have.
it's not a nice to have. It's not just an add-on that I'm just gonna have it when I can. No, you have to create and have fun, or you pull away and you stop engaging in whatever it is that you're doing in your marriage, in your finances, in your life in general. If it's not fun, you don't do it.
Yeah.
So I love having fun as being
Yeah.
the focal.
Intentionality. I teach that intentionality, right? So there's being reactive and proactive. If it's important to you and it's something you want to build a foundation on, a pillar of fun, put it in your calendar and budget for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Put aside the money. I don't care what it is. It could be a night out at the movies. It could be whatever.
Going
We
for an
bought
ice cream.
the game Clue.
Yeah.
Right? What's the last time you played Clue? Right, but it brings back a bunch of childhood memories. Right,
Yeah.
Professor Plum in the library with the lead pipe. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that was like what, $15. It
Yeah.
brought hours of fun. Got the kids. We talked about when we were, and that was a fun game night. It was 15.
Yeah. I love that. I also loved what you talked about with the stand-up meeting.
Yes.
We talk about the way we talk about money. We touch on money in our framework. We're not money experts like you are, but our whole principle is don't be weird about it. Like, let's just stop being weird about money and talk about it.
Talk about it.
Like, regularly, not a sit down once a year, once a month
No.
formal meeting, but let's just weekly have a conversation about where we are. And you mentioned what's our threshold for, like, are we talking about purchases at $100, at $500, at $1,000? Like, what is both of our level of comfort with our spending? If, like, at what point do we need to have a conversation, and being super clear on what that point is so that there's no
I bought a truck today,
yeah.
by the way.
Did you see that Saturday Night Live skit where the guy, it's the holidays and it's like, oh, come on out, honey. And, and he has the Mercedes in the driveway. And there's a big bow on it. And he's like, hey, honey, guess what? And she's like, what the hell did you do? We don't have the money to afford that. And he's like, what? I don't understand. I thought you'd be happy. Like the
Yeah.
car commercial, right? It's like, no, there's no communication, but like, I thought you'd like it. So I bought a, $50,000 car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Little
probably
funny.
above most people's threshold.
So have that conversation, have that threshold, and understand what you're doing, so you don't
Yeah.
have that surprise on the unintended surprise on Christmas.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
that whole principle of having that regular meeting goes back to what we talked about earlier in this podcast around when you talk about things when the emotions aren't high. Like, and so we talk about in our program, like a weekly team meeting. Talk about the finances. Talk about the calendar for what's coming up for this week. Like, where do the kids have to be, and where do I have to be, and where do you have to be, and
Yeah.
what are the big things that we're looking at for this week, and how did last week go? What could we have done better last week? And let's just have a quick debrief so that we're aligned starting this next week of our lives, so that we're more likely to be successful. Doesn't
Yep.
have to be a big, fancy, crazy, overwhelming
Thing.
thing. It's just we are staying aligned in a low emotional state, in a comfortable environment. We're going to sit in the couch and we're going to just chat about our lives and make sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Regular.
One exercise I have a lot of my clients do is, one is just to break the ice of the awkwardness, right? Share your biggest boneheaded move with money. What is the stupidest thing you've ever done? Could be while you're married and the person could tell you the story yourself, but that just gets the awkwardness out. Like, yeah, before I married you, my freshman year, I put spring break and all this on the credit card. Didn't even know that I had to pay it back. Got back. Right. You could just talk about it. Like, you didn't know that? Like, no, I did not know that.
Learned that
As
the hard
as
way.
a 19-year-old stupid kid, and I came home with like a $3,500 bill for a spring break. I don't even remember. Right.
I
So it and also the other thing is like I call it the hopes and worry list, right? Do it separately. What are some of your hopes and what are some of your worries? And then share it,
yeah.
right? And then what you might see some of those things overlap. Or I didn't know that's worrying you. This is the game plan for that. I didn't know you didn't know that. Or yeah, I got that covered. Or no, we don't have that covered. And that's actually on my list and your list. So maybe we
I
should address that, right?
That's
I
awesome.
love that.
Yeah.
I love because it requires a level of vulnerability to be
Yep.
able to do that, to share your fears and, that requires some trust and vulnerability, so it's building that bank account between the 2 of you, and it's actually
Looking into the future.
yeah, totally.
Dreamcast, like having that shared common vision, that North Star that you can build towards together. That's awesome.
You know what? Something else you said, Connor, that I loved a few minutes ago was you talked about you and your wife and the different strengths you bring to your team, and you called it your team, which I love because that's how we refer to marriage. It's a team sport. Going from single player mode to playing a team sport is a really tough transition, but when you can make that transition and see them as a teammate, it makes life so much easier. And one of our first rules to be an unstoppable team is that everyone's contribution matters. So if you both brought all the exact same strengths to this relationship and played the exact same role on this team, what's the point of having two of you? The fact that you can see each other's complementary strengths and appreciate and each other's contributions is the game plan to win. A lot of people struggle with sometimes the complementary strengths. It's hard to always see them as strengths. Like she does something the complete opposite way that you would do it because she
Mhm.
sees things differently and she has different strengths than you. How did you two start to appreciate each other's strengths and not get frustrated by each other's strengths?
I don't think it would be appreciated. I think it was recognized out of fault and error, right? So it was like in the beginning, it was more like I was a big picture person, right? She's detail orientated. I kind of knew that moving into it, but I didn't know when you're starting a family, like you need to know what time certain things are and when they need to be done and deadlines and right. And a couple, not fights, I just say, yeah, okay, let's call them fights, right? Came out and it was obvious that I need things written down. You can tell them to me oratorily, and I will be like, yep, absolutely. And then 15 minutes later, I don't quite remember. Yeah. So I have it across the room now every morning. Yeah, exactly. Right. Craig identifies and half the guys that are listening right now. But that took time and understanding her saying, what do you need? I'm like, you know what? Let's try something different. Instead of you telling me, how about we write it down? She's like, a thing to my list. But she started doing it, and all of a sudden, there was less missing the point, right? And it was like, well, then I had to train myself, look at the board. It was a new habit, a new behavior. Every morning, I get a cup of coffee. Boom, she has in bullet points what's going on for the kids, me, and anything that she's doing. I'm like, okay, great. I know at least, and then I can build my day around that. That took some time. Some other things that she realized that I just took for granted is like I'm pretty outgoing and gregarious. I'll talk to strangers in an elevator, right? But she's not like that. So I understood that she needs like an icebreaker. She needs me to start conversations with people and then slowly back out, and then she's good, right? And those are some things that like over trial and error. She's like, you abandoned me at this cocktail party. I was like, no, I didn't. I was just working the room. What do you? She's like, no, I need you to at least like be an icebreaker
Mm.
for some of these things. I can't just go into a room and not talk. Like I don't know. It's awkward for me. She was very uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't know you needed that from me. I was
Mhm.
like, sure, I'll be your Iceman. No problem. Viper, right? So that was a Top Gun reference if no one caught it. But yeah, so I was like, all right. And then we had signals and it's trial and error and you learn these things, but Lean into them or do you fight them?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. And if your teammate needs something, if you're able to provide it, I think it makes your life easier too if you can provide it. Like it's no skin off my back. And she makes lists all day long. So she's like, all right, I gotta make another list for this idiot. No problem. Right. So it's all good and it works. I think also when you're dealing with money, there's somebody that's like the columns and spreadsheet person. Yep. And then there's the other person that's like the creative future. Oh, let's think about, summer break. And you're like, it's January. Why are you even thinking about summer? Right. They're the more creative. Lean into those things. Right. And just have role clarity and don't ask the the dreamer to be the detail guy. Like, I need you to take meeting notes. Like, no, I'm not doing that. It's not. You're not going to like this,
You
right?
won't be able to read them anyway.
Exactly, right? So know each other's strengths and weaknesses, lean into that, and it makes the team better. Like you said, 1 + 1 = 3 sometimes.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's such a good point on the role clarity. We trial and errored role clarity for quite a while in our business, especially to really find our lanes and what we're good at and what we each bring to the table. The way you said that last bit just reminded me so much of when you say, like, oh, I've got a great idea, and you say it, and I'm like, write it down. Please write it down
Yeah.
because neither of us are going to remember it in 5 minutes. And tomorrow you're going to be like, what was that great idea I had? And I'm like,
Hmm.
I told you to write it
Exactly.
down, but I'm the detail person, so I need you to write it down.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, you're getting the idea. And it's no one's marriage is unique unto themselves. We all have these struggles, right? Like
Mhm.
I had a degree in finance. Why should I have to struggle with getting my wife on board with the principles of money and how it works? Like, of course,
Yeah.
it's two worlds coming into one, and there's a process. So I help, like I do refocus, gain control, set a plan, and accountability and follow through. Those are the steps. Refocus is finding that North Star, your why, your principles, your values, your priorities. Like if your life is a snow globe, you got to start organizing some things in some categories,
Mhm.
right? And then the hopes and worries list and really talking about communication and getting things going. Then gain control is the tools and resources, right? Like I don't know how to do a budget. I've tried it and I failed before. Or a debt payoff plan or, communication, regular communication. Like when do we have these 15-minute stand-up meetings? Do we have a family budget meeting? Do we point fingers or give hugs? Like I don't know what are we doing here, right? So and then the accountability and follow through is huge. If you don't have left to your own devices, if you're anything like me, you revert to your old behaviors, brushing your teeth with your right hand because it's comfortable. And you need some accountability and follow through. And sometimes that's why people hire coaches, right? I want to lose 15 pounds. Rah, rah, his kumbaya, it's the new year. Talk to me March 17th. Am I still going? It's St. Patrick's Day that day. I'm probably not going. But
Yeah.
if I have a really deep sense of why, and I have somebody that I've been vulnerable enough with and I've shared that with, like, I wanna have more energy for my kids. I don't wanna die of diabetes like my uncle. I want to right? That's a pretty good motivator. And if you share that stuff, and you're like, "Hey, it's raining out. I don't wanna go to the gym." That person might be like, "Okay." Or, "How about this? You told me this, 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 and this. Is this still the case? I want this for you now." You get the other people invested in your success, and they're like, "That's awesome." And then you start celebrating successes. That's
So
where the fun
true.
comes in.
When you think about like it goes back to what we talked about earlier is that all of the information you can Google it, you can AI it, you can get everything you want. But if it was just information, we'd all be billionaires with abs. But
Absolutely.
right, but we're not, and it's because of that point exactly is the accountability, the having someone show up for you with you to encourage you to keep going in those moments where you're not motivated to go to the gym or put that little bit away in that savings account or invest in your 401k.
Yep,
I was
that's
gonna,
one of them.
I was gonna say RRSP, but that's a Canadian thing.
Canadian, yep, 401
Yep.
cat.
Speaking American, nice
Yep,
work.
yeah, yeah.
Good try.
But it's so true. Like if it's not just knowledge, you have to have that little piece of accountability.
So think about this. Like I think about people that are very accountable to themselves. Like so self-disciplined is like freakish.
Yeah.
Like the people that are like the marathon runners that are like running in the snow, or the people that are like counting their macros and diet and like going to the gym all the time, or very red. Those people are such outliers
Mhm.
that they stand out and make other people uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Because the majority of us, I'm speaking to everybody that's probably listening right now, we're not that. So what do we
Yeah.
need? We have to get outside of ourselves and be held accountable to a higher standard that we want for ourselves, not for anybody else.
For sure.
And that's the truth.
You totally just hit on, something like a concept that we've been talking about now for the last several months because we were having this exact conversation of what makes some people follow through. How do some people hold themselves accountable? How do are some people so disciplined to their goals? Like, what is discipline? How do you build it? And what we come to realize is exactly what you're saying is when you know where you're going, when you have your North Star, when you know what you ultimately want, the thing you're working towards, you're living for that. You're making decisions today in service of where you want to be in your life
Mhm.
instead of making decisions today in service of how I feel in this exact moment in time.
Yeah.
I'm living for what I want in the future instead of for what I want in this moment in the present.
Yeah, absolutely. But the challenge is that that road is such a long road.
Yeah.
And
We
if
all
you
want
don't
instant
celebrate,
gratification.
yeah, if you don't celebrate the small wins along the way,
Definitely.
you're gonna give up. Like, why
100%.
would you? Take the
100.
most disciplined people in the world, like Navy SEALs, or
Yeah.
like those people are such freaks of nature that like, how do they? There's some kind of inner core that drives them that I don't quite understand. But you just take regular people that have really big inspiration, Olympic athletes, right? Why is it that there's something that they've identified their own identity to?
Mhm.
It's very rare in human nature to violate one's own self identity. You'll do almost anything not to,
Mhm.
right? Or you'll protect it at all cost. If
Yep.
I truly believe I'm an honest person and you call me dishonest, there's a visceral reaction, isn't there?
Oh, yes.
Why is that? Because I'm right. So it's almost like that's why we talk about values and goals and hopes and dreams, and because that's the stuff, the emotion, right? It's in the word that
Mhm.
moves you. And yeah, that's basically it. I mean, that and celebration. Like I'm a big habit loop guy. If I don't get immediate feedback or
Yeah.
some kind of like cookie at the end of the, I'm not doing it for that long.
It's so true. Like celebrating all the little for example, someone listening to this podcast, celebrate that you listened to the full podcast, that you took a note, that you took one nugget from this podcast. Celebrate the fact that you booked a call with Connor, like to talk about your finances. Like celebrate the little moments along the way, even though you didn't get to the end goal yet of, saving for retirement, whatever your goal, whatever your
Whatever
big
it
North
was. Yeah.
Star is, but celebrate the little things along the way. And it doesn't have to be go out for dinner. Like we're not saying, like that's going to be counter to your thing, but like, you know, talk good about yourself, celebrate, have a fist bump with your partner, like just acknowledge the little steps that you're taking. It keeps you in momentum to the
Mhm.
next thing. If you celebrate and have that good feeling of I'm making progress, it keeps you going to the next one.
Because we didn't always believe that, right? Like back in the day in our corporate existence in our corporate life, like I never celebrated anything. It was like, oh, I had a goal, I wanted to get this next role, I wanted to get this next promotion and the next whatever. I got it. Great. I'm already on to the next goal in my head when I've achieved this one. So there's never that sort of acknowledgement of "Hey, great job. You did the thing you said you were going to do. Congratulations to me." And I never had that thought, that moment with myself, that fist bump. I never ever did that because by the time I got the thing I wanted, I was on to the next thing that I wanted. And so I never took that time to acknowledge the work I did, all the time I put in, and actually achieving the thing I set out for myself to achieve. So that's why we start literally every coaching call, every mastermind call that we do now with like, let's everyone share a celebration. Like what's going well, because we don't
Yep.
take enough time to do that. And that's what gets us and keeps us in momentum. And momentum is how you bust through all the brick walls that life likes to throw in your way sometimes.
It's also contagious.
Yes.
Totally.
It's totally
Yeah.
contagious. It
Yeah.
really is. So to your point, I kind of lost my train of thought, but the thing is that being a money coach, yeah, I'm gonna let you know a little inside secret. It has nothing to do with the money. It's never about the money. People think it is, but that's the thing that's kind of blocking them for what that is. It's the habits, behaviors about the celebration of wins. It can be a big thing too. Like, yeah, it could be go get yourself the vente at Starbucks or Tim Hortons Canadian. There you go. Right. Or how about this? If you don't apply any more credit card debt, I want you to go get a full body massage for $150. Like, what? Yeah. Something that's going to be enough where you're like, I want that again.
Yeah,
Or it's okay to celebrate behavior change of something that you didn't do. Like that, you look back and you're like, yeah, that's not the old Connor. That's
right.
definitely not. No, I would have definitely not known. I would not have had all cash for Christmas. I would have definitely used my credit card and been paying it off until March 15th.
Yeah,
So I'm going to buy myself a little something or do something for myself because you're
I love it.
celebrating. That's why the whole reason you're starting the journey in the first place for you.
Totally.
You
Yeah,
know you're capable of more, and once you start accomplishing more, celebrate that. Why wait until the end of your life for the end of the rainbow?
exactly.
Oh, you know what? That's the exact lesson I learned when we started running. Like, I was not a runner, that's a whole other story. But when I started running, I was doing guided runs with Nike. And one of the first runs I did, the Nike coach, he was like, everyone waits till the end of the run to celebrate. You started the run today. You said you were going to run, and now here you are running. Celebrate the beginning. You don't have to wait to the end to celebrate. You can celebrate all along the way. And I was like, really? Huh. I can celebrate. I am running. I did start. Like, good for me. Yeah, high five. Like,
High
it
five.
it was a cool lesson. I never thought of it before. The
And
Nike running coach told me.
and it's a lesson we've woven into all our coaching because
Yeah.
it's so important to your point. Like celebrate the beginning, celebrate starting something, celebrate the middle, celebrate the little milestones along the way, the things that are going to keep you in momentum to the next thing. It's so
Yeah,
great.
all hard things start with change.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's true.
Let's
All good
underline
things.
that.
I should write
All
that one
hard
down.
things
It's
start with
not as
change.
good as Nike should do it, but we'll get there.
I mean, we could go on and on. There's so much overlap here,
Oh
and
my god.
there's such a great
I love chatting
conversation.
with you.
Yeah. What are you working on right now that's got your blood pumping? Like, what are you most excited about right now? Like,
Yeah,
what's going on?
so I call it the new year, new you, right? So a lot of people reflect upon what happened the last year, what things they fell short on, things they've accomplished, what are they striving for. I'm starting off in January with, new year, new you, in that just the area of money and trying to help as many couples just transform their relationship with it, whatever that means for that person. I don't care if it's get out of debt, or maybe it's like, yeah, negotiate my salary, or whatever that is. Maybe it's improve the communication, or like, let me untie the fisherman's knot of all these limiting self beliefs I've had about money since I've been a kid. They're no longer serving me, right? And that's got my blood pumped because I know from this year and years past, like, it really changes lives. It changes the whole trajectory and changes family trees sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I'm pretty hyped about it. So that's something I'm working on. I'm also doing organizational financial wellness. So instead of one on one, I'm thinking about going to organizations that really care about their employees or members, be it
Mm.
not for profits or for profits, and
Mhm.
saying, listen, chances are 66% of your members are struggling in this area of their life.
Mhm.
So maybe
So
we
good.
can sit down with them, help them. So that's another
I
thing I'm
love the
working
new
on.
year. I love that. Both things actually. The new year, new you. And not that you need to wait for a new year to adopt a new habit, but a lot of
No,
people take that mindset of, it's a new year. Let's focus on something. I got to change something. Like last year was okay, but next year I want it to be better. So I'm going to focus on my finances. So I love that. The organizational thing is really important because I don't think like there's so many people out there who they generate income through their job, but they don't know what to do with it. They don't get that training or those tools or those concepts. And so it's really great if you can focus in and get into those what do they call them? The employee family
Employee assistance program.
assistance program where they offer sometimes
yeah,
companies.
benefits, employee benefits.
Yeah, exactly. They offer these different courses or things that if they could get a money course from an expert like you, that'd be like a game changer for them. So
Yeah,
I
because
love.
I've seen it numerous times where it's like, all right, I got a raise. First of all, they're paycheck to paycheck, right? The solution is I need more money, and they get a $10,000 raise
Yeah.
in a year and a half. they're paycheck to paycheck again.
Yep.
How did that happen? Right?
Yep.
That's a big problem that needs to be solved.
100%.
So hopefully I'm that solution.
And you are. How can people get a hold of you, Connor?
You know, the best way is through my website. It's www.progress. You want to make some progress. FC, like financial coaching. Progressfc.com. There's some free resources on there. You can set up a free complimentary consultation, just a conversation. Yeah, that's the best way. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. My website. Yeah, and for your listeners, they mention you and they're in. Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So we'll include all of Connor's info on
In the show
in the
notes.
show notes. So those can be clickable, and so you don't have to remember everything, but they're all right there.
Well,
I
thank you so
appreciate
much,
it.
Connor.
Yeah.
This was so much fun. I just love chatting with you. There's always so much energy and overlap and fun. And I just thank you so much for all the wisdom and energy you brought to everybody
Yeah, if
today.
you ever need me again, I'm here for you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. You have a magnificent evening. Thanks.
You too. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Road of Life podcast. Remember, your business will only grow as strong as your marriage does.
So what's one action you're going to take this week to put something you learned in this episode into practice? Because we love a good chit chat as much as the next person does. But without action, stay where you are.
If you want to turn your marriage into the engine that drives your business forward, instead of the brakes keeping it stuck, book a free marriage and business strategy session with us at 200percentmarriage.com/strategy call.
We'll see you next week.
Road of life, yes, you're on.